All right, guys, welcome to the training. In this video, we're going to be talking about, I'm really excited about this, by the way. If you've been around me any length of time, any coaching calls you come to, you know I love the objection stuff. Absolutely love it. This is what I live for. There is no objection in the world that I can't overcome. And you can come to the coaching calls and you can challenge me on anything. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite part of the job. My favorite part of my job is when I hear no. I absolutely love it. I tell people all the time. People come to me, they're brand new salespeople or brand new entrepreneurs, whatever. I just want to find, I got to get my first client. I just want to hear yes all the time. Look, if I heard yes all the time, I'd quit. It gets so boring. Now, obviously, yeah, we want to make money, right? A lay down every once in a while is fine. But I love the fight. I live for the fight. When they say no, I'm like, finally, this is the best thing in the world. I love it. So we're going to teach you in this call, in this training, how to overcome any objection that you will ever hear in your life from a qualified prospect. Now, qualified prospect, I'm just going to define it one time. We've said it over and over and over again. In every single training that I do, I talk about qualified prospects. Qualified prospect is someone who has a general want, need, and desire for what it is that you offer. Number two, they have the ability to pay you. And number three, they have the authority to say yes or no. So they have a want for what you have or a need for what you have. And I'll explain that briefly, right? So I'm not saying that somebody jumped out of bed and was like, I'm got to buy a car today. That's not what I mean. But what I do mean is that they know their bumper is falling off, right? They know that their lease is up in 2 months, right? They didn't wake up excited about it, but they know it's coming up and they got to do it. So they have a general want, need, and desire, okay? Number two, they have to be able to afford what it is that you're selling them. So, don't sell a $5,000 SEO package to a nail salon that makes $10,000 a month or $7,000 a month. That's stupid. You're never going to close that deal. They don't have the money to pay you, right? Don't sell $1 million home to someone who makes $30,000 a year and has a 400 credit score. No matter what sales tactics you use, that deal's not going to happen. They don't have the ability to make the purchase. And the same thing is true with, let's say you're selling a car. Someone could love the car. They can absolutely love it. They can need it. They could want it. They could desire it. They could be a multimillionaire. But if they're 12, they can't drive. So you're wasting your time. Sell the parent, sure, but you're wasting your time on the kid. You got to sell somebody else. So want, need, desire, general want, need, desire, ability, and authority. Make sure that as we're going through this, we remember those three things. Because when I'm addressing a prospect, when I'm talking about rebuttals, it's always from the standpoint of that person being qualified. So if somebody tells me they don't have the money, I'm not sitting here saying, well, do they really not have the money? Or could that be possible? I already know they have it. They're giving me an excuse, right? So when I rebut objections, that's the way I come at it, because I'm only talking to qualified prospects, and you should as well. And one more thing before we actually get into the training here, make sure you have a notebook with you for this call. Please make sure you have a notebook for this video. Please make sure you have a notebook, because the gold is going to be what I say when I'm not talking about the slides. I promise you. And you're going to want to jot a whole bunch of things down. And watch this video once, twice, 100 times, because there's going to be a lot of stuff in here that you're going to be able to take to the battlefield with you as ammunition to help you win. Just go with it, right? Win the fight. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say win the game. But whatever. It is what it is. All right. So before we go into how to overcome any objection that's ever going to come at you, we have to understand why they come up in the first place, right? Because, look, we have a qualified prospect, okay? So they have a want, need, desire for what it is that we're offering. They can afford it, and they have the authority to say yes or no. They're a decision maker. If those three things are checked off, well, then why aren't they buying? Everyone should buy. They want it, they need it, they desire it, right? Car lease is coming up in a month, or the bumper's falling off or whatever. If they're in a dealership and they have $400 a month and the payment is $359 and they're 25 years old with a driver's license and a 700 credit score, why are they not buying? Okay, so in order to understand how to overcome objections, we have to understand first why people actually make a decision as to whether to purchase something or not purchase something. And I'm going to make this very easy for you, because I hear all sorts of theories about this, right? People buy because of price. People buy because of value. They don't buy because of value. They buy because of need. They don't buy because of want. They buy because of this. All wrong. You can break this down to two very simple things. And you could go all the way down. You could challenge me. Come to the coaching calls, challenge me in the Facebook group. Name a product that doesn't fit into one of these two circles that I'm about to show you. It doesn't exist. Okay? People buy, number one, because of experience. And what I mean by that is people make a purchase of something because they believe, for some reason, we don't know why, but they believe that that thing is going to somehow increase their experience in life. Now, this could be something really small, or it could be something really big, right? So if somebody is buying a house, the reason why they're buying a house is because they believe that the house is going to make their life better in some way. Okay? Now, let's go all the way down to the bottom of the list, right? People buy a pack of gum because they believe it's going to increase their experience in some way, shape, or form. Look, we could go all crazy with this, right? People buy and do drugs because they believe it's going to increase their experience. People buy pens because they believe it's going to increase their... It's literally every single product in the world connects back to experience and or status. These are the two reasons why people buy things, okay? So let's go back to the house example. I mean, again, we can go through every single product in the world if you'd like to. It doesn't really matter because they all fit here, right? Why do people buy the pack of gum? It's going to increase their experience. It's going to make their mouth taste better. It's going to make their breath smell better. But also when they go to work, people are not going to be like, holy crap, what'd you eat this morning? Status, experience, and status. People buy the car, because it's going to be safer for them. It's going to be more comfortable for them. It's going to be more reliable for them. But also because what is the neighbor going to think when I pull up with a brand new car? What is my family going to look at it and throw change in the back seat? Status, right? I pull up to the office in a brand new car. Everyone's going to be asking me about it. Status, right? Why do people buy Starbucks over Dunkin' Donuts? Status. That's the only reason why, okay? So it always fits into at least one of these two things. But for most products and services, especially the bigger ones, right? So if you look at houses and boats and cars and, business type investments and stuff, it always fits into both of these, okay? So if you're having a problem selling things, whatever it is that you sell, right? If you're having a problem selling things, I can almost guarantee you it's because you're not demonstrating, not the value of your product. See, that's wrong. You're not demonstrating the fact that your solution can increase both the status and experience of the prospect. If you do that for your qualified prospects, they will buy every single time. Okay, now obviously, there's a little caveat to that, and that's why we're doing this video, because there's objections that come up, right? We got to overcome them. But in a perfect world, if you do everything perfectly, which none of us do, right? But if you do everything perfectly in a perfect world, if you are demonstrating that the experience and status levels of your prospect will rise to the moon, when they buy your product or service, they should buy every single time. Okay, so if we're clear on the fact that people buy things only because of status and experience, well, then that leads us to the next question, which is, why don't they buy? Right? If you have a qualified prospect who wants, needs, and desires what you have to offer, they can afford it easily, and they can make a decision right now, why on earth wouldn't they buy? Well, the reasons are exactly the same. The reasons are status and experience. That's it. And I kind of hinted at this in the last slide. The only reason why a prospect, a qualified prospect, would not buy from you in a perfect world, right? The only reason why a prospect would not buy from you is because they don't believe that your solution is going to increase their status and experience enough to make the purchase. That's it. Okay? So look, forget about, oh, I gotta, it's too expensive for that audience, or oh, the value's not there. I gotta add more stuff in. I gotta give them a longer trial period. I gotta give them an extra bonus of this. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is if you can convince your prospect that their status and or experience will rise when they buy from you. That's it. If you can do that, you'll make every sale that you talk to. It's just that simple. Okay. Now, again, I want to stress this because I know that there are some people out there that'll say it's impossible to close 100%. I'm not saying you're going to close 100% of the people. What I'm saying is, in a perfect world, which we do not live in, right? In a perfect world, if you are perfect throughout the entire script, if you're perfect with every single thing that you say, the prospect is super qualified, and you hit a level 10 on experience and a level 10 on status, they should buy from you every single time. Okay? So, if your qualified prospect is certain that your solution will increase his status and or experience, then all objections should go away and they must buy every single time. I want to key in on the word certain here for a second, okay? It has to be beyond the shadow of a doubt. It's not like, yeah, I think that might work. Not good enough. Right? Or the car was all right. Not good enough. Man, I love it. I could see myself driving in this thing for the rest of my life. They're certain. I kind of liked it, but if the price is right, maybe I'll think about it. Not good enough. They're not certain enough, right? So you have to make sure that your prospects are 1,000% certain on both status and experience before you actually ask them to buy anything from you. Now, with that said, again, there's a lot of caveats to all this stuff. And, I've been doing this for 23 years now. It's a long time, right? So there's a lot of experience built in this little brain of mine. There's a caveat to that. There are things called trial closes where we will go out because we're not sure, right? There's no way to know most of the time. Listen, I made a very dramatic example just now. You're not going to test drive somebody in a car and, they're going to get out and they're going to be like, holy crap, this is I can live in it. It's the greatest thing. That's never going to happen, right? Same thing is true with a house. The same thing is true. You go to pitch someone, our marketing platform that we sell. You go, oh, I've been waiting for an email marketing thing since we opened the place. I can't believe you came. That's never going to happen, right? So there are points in a script where we test out certainty. Right? And those are called trial closes. So we'll go up and we'll do a brief demonstration of what it does, or we'll say based on what you just told me, this seems like a really good fit for you, and here's basically how it works. And we'll tell them basically how it works. And then we'll say, if you like any of our other clients, you're going to love what you see here, and the only regret you're going to have is we didn't start months ago. Does that sound? That's a trial close. And most of the time, they're going to say no. They're going to say no because they're not certain enough yet. And that's when we get into the objection, rebuttal stages. Okay? So, if a qualified prospect is certain that your solution will increase their status and or experience, better if you could do both, but it could be one or the other too. It doesn't have to be both. If they're certain it'll increase the status and or experience, then all objections will go away and they must buy from you every single time. Therefore, all objections, this is vital for you to understand this. This is like life or death. All objections are based on uncertainty in some way, shape, or form. Look, when we break it down this way, right? See, most sales trainers or whatever you want to call me, right? But most of the people, and we're going to go through specific objections. I'm going to give you an objection. I'm going to say time, and then I'm going to give you a scenario, and I'm going to teach you how to overcome that, right? I'm going to teach you how to overcome specific things. But what you have to understand is that time, I don't have the time right now, is not really the objection. The real objection is I'm not sure, I'm not 100% certain that this is going to increase my experience in life or business or whatever and increase my status in my community or among my peers or whatever it is. That's the real objection every time. That's why you can, look, if you're getting trained by someone and they say to you, you got to dig a little deeper to find out what the real thing is, right? If they say things like that and, they're trying to get you to go from like if they say time, well, go a little deeper on time and see if maybe they just don't have time today, or they don't have time this week, or maybe they don't have enough, maybe they don't have enough people to work for them. Those people just don't know what they're talking about, because it's not about the time. It's about the uncertainty of the thing. That's what they're objecting to. Always. It's not almost always. It's every single time. And the way that I prove this to people is I say, and sometimes I'll say this on the phone too. I'll say to them, look, I understand that you probably don't think you have the time or whatever it is that you just said. But, the bottom line is this. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, I call you tomorrow and I say, Joe, it's Kenny again. I just wanted to give you a quick update. I know we talked yesterday, but I just wanted to give you a quick update and touch base. For some reason, I don't know why this happened, but for some reason, your name with your address came to my mailbox. I accidentally opened it. I'm really sorry, but I accidentally opened it. And inside is a $10 million check. Now, in order for me to bring this $10 million check to you so that you can put it into your bank, I'm going to need 3 hours of your day today. When can I come? Are you going to tell me not to come? Of course not. You're going to say, now, come right now. Like, forget about it. Everything else is off the calendar. Why would they say that? Because the certainty is a level of 1,000. It's going to increase status, experience through the roof. The only reason why they're telling you they don't have time, or they don't have the money, you got to talk to my wife, I got to talk to my partner, whatever, is because they're uncertain that your thing is going to do what you say your thing is going to do. That's it. Okay? So when we break down objections and we look at them with just this one line right here, it makes it a lot easier for us to overcome them. Okay? Now, like I said, we are going to address, in this video, how to specifically get over the time objection. We are going to address how to specifically get over the money objection, or I got to talk to somebody else, or whatever. We're going to specifically go over each and every one of those. But again, at the core of it all is always uncertainty. If they were 1,000% certain on my product or service and all that, they wouldn't have a time objection. They wouldn't have a money objection. They wouldn't have, I got to talk to my partner. I got to talk to my accountant. I got to talk to the president or whoever. They wouldn't have that objection because they'd be certain that it would give them the solution they're looking for and therefore increase their status and or experience in life. And if that's the case, they have no reason to be uncertain about it and they got to buy, right? So all objections come down to them being at a level of uncertainty that makes them feel uncomfortable about moving forward. But what are they uncertain about, right? Are they uncertain about the product? Are they uncertain about them? Are they uncertain about their company or their ability to actually do what you're like? Some people, sure, I'll buy the car. I love the car. It's amazing, but it's a stick shift. And I don't know. I got to think about it a little bit. Well, maybe they're uncertain about their ability to drive the car, right? Most of the time, it comes down to 3 things. Most of the time, they are uncertain about either your solution, your business, or you. Usually, it's one of those 3 things. It's very rarely them, and if it is them, you probably won't know anyway, so don't even bother to try. Just focus on these 3. Now, if you've been through my appointment training, you know that we have our appointment, we call it the propaganda sequence or the indoctrination sequence here. You can call it whatever you want, but it's the email sequence that we send, or the contact sequence that we send out between the time we book an appointment and the time we show up. And I always tell people when they go through my appointment training that, the appointment script is great, it works, it's fine, whatever, but it's nothing special. What's special about my appointment process is what happens between the time you book the call and the time you show up. Because, why? It gets them certain about your solution by providing a case study. It gets them certain about you and your business by providing testimonials. Why do we do case studies and testimonials? Because it knocks these 3 out. It brings their level of certainty to a level of 100 before you even show up. That's why the appointment process works so well. Now, you don't have to use appointments to do that. You can do that in a number of different ways, but I'm just specifically talking about that. The reason why we send out testimonials, case studies, and we actually want them to read them, or watch the video or get the text message or whatever it is because we understand that prospects that say no are uncertain about one of these three things. And if we can walk into that office with their level of certainty being at a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, right? If we can walk in at a level 10, all we have to do is say, when do you want to start? People think that I'm joking when I say that until they actually use it and they do it and they say, wow, really all I said was, did you get what I sent you? Yes. Did you read it? Yes. Did you like it? Yes. You want to start today or tomorrow? Today. And they're like, wow, I can't believe that actually happened. It happens because it's psychologically designed to knock out all of the uncertainty about the process. And I never really talked about this before on a training program like this. I've taught this to companies before, but I've never talked about it on a training program like this before, okay? That email sequence or contact sequence, because we don't use just email, but that sequence is specifically designed to knock out these three things, which are the three things that make people uncertain about going forward with you, right? Or buying a product or purchasing something. So we have to understand that these three things must be at a level 10 before they say yes. Now, here's the tricky part. And this is, I don't really want to call it the tricky part because this is the part that I actually love. This is the fun part. We really don't know where they are at any given moment, right? So what we have to do, we have to be like a detective almost. We have to kind of guess, try it, and hope, right? So guess, try it, and hope is objection. Rebuttal is the guess, and then try to close them and then hope they say yes. And then they're probably going to say no again. So, whoops, okay, that didn't work. So we rebut the next objection, we try to close them, and we hope they say yes. And that didn't work. Nope, okay, I didn't hit 10 on all three of them yet, so let's go again. And we just keep going and going and going and going and going until we hit all 10, and then they say yes. It's not, look, when you're selling something to somebody, I don't know if you've ever sold anything before, but if you did, you probably know this. For any length of time, anyway, you probably have figured this out. Usually what ends up happening is this. You have your intro, you have your reason for the call, you have your qualification questions. I'm talking about like a one-call close now, right? A little different than appointments or whatever. So you have a one-call close, you're closing somebody on the first call. You have your intro, you have your reason for the call, you have your qualification questions, you have your pitch, and then you have your trial close, and then you have rebuttals. Most of the time, it's trial close. No, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. Rebuttal 1. No, I can't. That's too much money for me. Rebuttal 2. I can't swing it right now, man. You got to call back at the end of the year or beginning of next year. Rebuttal 3. I just really can't do it. I just really don't have the money right now. Rebuttal 4. The money's really tight right now. I just really can't swing it. I like the idea, but I just can't swing it. Rebuttal 5. Yes, let's do it. That's almost always how it works. It's not no, kind of no, a little bit more towards maybe now, maybe, okay, I might do it. I'm really thinking about it. Okay, let's do it. It's not a gradual progression. It's no, 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 greatest thing in the world. That's usually how it works. Why? Because the first time, no, we weren't 10, 10, 10. The second time, no, we were off. The third time, no, we were off. The fourth time, we hit them all three at one time, and bang, they bought it. That's almost always how it works. I was taught that when I was 16 years old in the stock business, when I was cold calling for people. I was taught these three things. And when I learned this one process, I was able to go from someone who was getting maybe 1 out of 200 people to give me a lead to closing 30% of the people I talked to by just focusing on solution, business, and me. Myself, my company, and the stuff that we've done. That's it. When I focused on those three things, all the uncertainty went away. And when all the uncertainty went away, it was so much easier to close deals. I took that lesson with me, and I've been building businesses using these three things since that day. I used it in the car business, obviously in the stock business. I use it in the mortgage business. I use it in the car business. I use it in my consulting company. I use it in my Facebook ad agency. I use it in every company I've ever built in my life. All my clients use it, everything. That's why I always tell people results are everything. When you have a customer, get them results. Why? Because when you get them results, the certainty level of your next prospect goes through the roof. When you could show them, look at this pizza place I did this for. Look at this nail salon I did this for. Look at this gym I did this for. Look at this lawyer I did this for. And on and on and on and on and on. Their certainty level goes higher. And when their certainty level goes higher, they're more likely to buy. The higher you can make it, the more likely it is they're going to say yes to you. Okay? So we have to understand what they're uncertain about, and then how do we overcome it? The bottom line is we don't really know. So what we do is we try and we hope. That's it. Okay? So, common myth. Buyers must, I've almost gotten into like physical fights over this. Buyers must know, like, and trust you. That is, excuse me for the language, but that is the biggest crock of shit I have ever heard in my lifetime. Buyers must know, and I see it from like these world-renowned sales closing masters or whatever, who probably hasn't sold anything ever in his life. Buyers must know, like, and trust you in order to buy from you. That is a lie. It's the furthest thing from, I sold more stuff, especially in the car business, this was true, because I was a hard-charging car salesman. I came from the stock business and the mortgage business. Those are like white-knuckle offices, right? And then I went into the car business, which is a little bit more laid back. It's still a little like, you hustle a little bit, but it's a lot more laid back than the stock business and the mortgage business was. I came in there and I was like beating people over the head. I sold more cars to people that didn't like me than people that did like me. Like a lot more. The people that liked me, that bought cars from me, were like my family. Everyone else that left the dealership after me, they were like filing complaints and stuff. Like they hated me. But the car moved. They got the payment they wanted, right? They got the car they wanted. They got the color they wanted. They got the payment they wanted, and the car was off the lot. That was my job, right? So they don't have to like you. They don't have to know you. They do kind of have to trust you, but they don't have to like you, and they don't have to know you. The truth is, buyers must be certain that you, your product or service, and your company will not bring their experience and or status level down in any way. Let me rephrase that, okay? And I'm talking about bigger ticketed purchases here. I'm not talking about a soda or a pack of gum or like a freaking handkerchief or something. I'm talking about like buying a car, buying a house, buying a boat or whatever. Someone's spending $1,000 or more. Think about this, right? The biggest fear that a buyer has is that you're taking advantage of them in some way, shape, or form, right? That's like the biggest thing. The last thing they want to do is go home in their new Nissan Maxima and have their cousin say, man, you paid that? What are you, insane? They beat you over the head. Why would you do that? They don't want that to happen. And if there is any shred of that in their brain, they're not going to do it. They just won't do it. And the same thing is true with, I sell marketing services. I sell sales training. I sell consulting. I sell, internet marketing stuff. I sell, coaching programs, stuff like that. If there's any level in their brain that they think that somebody else will look down on them because they made the purchase, most people, not everybody, but most people will not do it. Most people. And we're talking about like 99% of people. They just won't do it. Okay? So we have to make sure, again, I know I keep saying this, but it's really important. They don't have to know, like, and trust you. That is a myth. It's a lie. Don't believe it. Because what happens is when people look at this, they see buyers must know, like, and trust me. So let me do a little research on the buyer. Okay, I'm going on LinkedIn. I'm going on Facebook. I'm finding out the guy's name, everything else. Ooh, look at that. He's a Patriots fan. So let me call him up and talk about how great the Patriots are for 45 minutes. That's what people do when they hear this. Okay? Or, ooh, look, he's, someone calls me up, and this happens to me a lot. Someone calls me up and they're like, wow, he likes to fish. I see his Facebook pictures of fishing and shooting and guns and everything else. Let me call him up and talk about fishing for a half hour. Like, you get into a conversation with me on, a Wednesday at 1 p.m. about fishing. I may listen to you for a couple minutes, but, I'm just not going to pay attention to you, right? But if you call me up with a solution to a problem that I have, I'll listen to you all day long. So they think about this myth and they go on to, for a lot of people, they'll believe that means they have to find common ground with somebody, and they think that that's building rapport or making them like you or know you or whatever, and it's not. All it's doing is wasting time, and it's making you look like an idiot. That's it. And I'm sorry to be blunt, but that's just the way it is. So it's not about know, like, and trust. It's about certainty that you can deliver what you're promising, that your solution can deliver the results that you're promising, and that your company is good enough to support whatever it is that you're doing. The way that you do that primarily is with testimonials, case studies, or what we just refer to here at my company, results. That's it. If you can get results for customers, you're good to go. That's going to knock out all the uncertainty for your buyers every single time. Okay? All right. The goal of every rebuttal is to do two things. Number one, raise the certainty level in all three categories. Your solution, your company, and you. And it's in any order. It doesn't have to be, that order. It could be any order. It doesn't really matter. The goal of every rebuttal is to raise the certainty levels of all three categories. That's number one. Number two, Tony Robbins always says, never leave the site of a goal-setting session without taking a step towards that goal or doing some kind of action. I always say, never leave the site of a rebuttal without asking them to buy from you again. Same concept, right? So we're going to raise those three levels, and then we're going to say, buy it now. Raise the levels, buy it now. Raise the levels, buy it now. Why do we do that? We do that because we don't know what's going to work. Any salesperson or trainer or coach or whatever that tells you this rebuttal will work every single time and they will buy after you say these things. If they say that to you, they're lying for the most part. Okay? There are some instances where we do like drops and stuff or boxes and closes or whatever. We're not really talking about that now, but there are some instances where that could theoretically be true, and we have some pitches that work that way, but they're specifically designed to work that way. But for the most part, every single rebuttal is a guess. Okay? Every single rebuttal is a guess. So let me just give you examples because I brought it up really quickly. So if somebody tells you, if you do this rebuttal, it will work every time. Okay? Most of the time they're lying to you. There are two examples where that could be the case. One of them is called a box and close. And I'm going to have a separate video just on this alone. It's going to be a lot shorter than this one, but it's going to be a separate video just on this one technique. It's a technique that we use, and a lot of people use it. I learned it in the stock business, and I use it in the car business really well. It's a technique that we use after we've exhausted all of our rebuttals. So we've gone 6, 7, 8, 10 rebuttals deep, and they're still not buying from us. And they're sticking to the same exact objection. Okay, so here's the way it works. No, I don't have the money. 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 And they keep saying that over and over and over again. And then I'm going to come out and I'm going to say, let me ask you a question. I hear you keep saying that you don't have the money for this. So what were you expecting to pay for this product or for this solution or whatever? Let's say it's a $30,000 car, right? Just whatever. They're buying a $30,000 car. And I say, what would you expect to pay for something like this, the car that you like? Because obviously at this point, we can agree that you like the car, right? I like the car. Okay, good. You want the car. I want the car. So the only thing that's holding us back, the only thing that's keeping us apart is the finances, right? Yes. Okay, good. So what would you expect to pay for a car like this? Well, really, I did a little research online and I went to a couple of dealerships and I was expecting to pay no more than $28,500 for that car. So let me ask you this, just so we're on the same page. If I was able to get you that car that you love, the one that you want, the one that you drove, for $28,500 on the nose, you take it home today. Is that right? That's called a box and close. So what we do is we use whatever objection they say to us and we spin it around on them. Okay? That works almost every single time. The problem is you can't do it every time because, look, you're selling, let's just stick with the same example. You're selling a car, but then you say, well, what were you expecting to pay? 10 grand? What's a $30,000 car, dude? Like, I don't know what you're doing, right? So we can't do that. So again, it works every time when you can do it. It doesn't work when you can't do it. So that's one example of an objection that works every single time. or rebuttal, sorry, that works every single time. And we only use that after we've exhausted every other option. The other rebuttal that works almost every single time, about a 70 to 80% rate, is when you do a massive drop at the end with a really strong benefit. So let me give you an example. We have pitches here at my company, one called Close Pitches, where we sell a Facebook ad service, right? And we also sell a marketing platform. So we'll just use the Facebook ad service as an example for this demonstration. We'll go through the one called Close Pitch, and we have 4 rebuttals. Okay, so it's a rebuttal sequence, meaning those rebuttals are said 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter what the other person says. So it's not like if they say time, we say this. If they say money, we say this. If they say we got to talk to a partner, we say this. It's not like that. It's you just read them straight down the page. Okay, so the way that pitch is structured is it's specifically designed to get them to say no to all 3 so that we can get to number 4. Why do we want to do that? We want to do that because we actually sell a trial to our Facebook ad service. We don't actually sell the service up front. We never would. So, and the reason why we don't do that is because I want to make sure I'm going to get results for them before I actually ask them to invest $1,500 with my company. So we say trial close, $1,500. No. Rebuttal 1, $1,500. No. Rebuttal 2, $1,500. No. Rebuttal 3, $1,500. No. Rebuttal 4, fine. How about we do this? I'm here to gain trust with you. You don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. We'll do it for free for 10 days. The only thing I'm going to ask you is pay for ads, spend $50. That's it. Your address is still ABC123. That's it. That's the 4th rebuttal. Okay? So those dramatic drops with a big benefit will work almost every single time. Those are the only 2, though. So if anyone else is telling you the rebuttal that I'm giving you is going to work every single time, is lying to you, unless it's one of those 2 things. And the reason why that is because we do not know what's going to raise the level of certainty in those 3 categories. We have no idea. Okay? That's why it's no, 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 no. Let's do it. It's not gradual. It's instant because one of our rebuttals will work if it's a qualified prospect. We just have to get to the right one. And there's no way for anyone in the world to tell you what the right one is because every prospect is different when it comes to their level of certainty and uncertainty. They're all not buying because of uncertainty. And the uncertainty is in the areas of status and experience, but the levels are different. And the way that you're going to make those levels go up and down are different. There are rebuttals that you'll use on people. And I do this all the time. My salespeople do it every day too. And this is just part of an entrepreneur's job. Or if you're a salesperson for somebody else, it's part of the life, right? You're going to do rebuttals that are going to hurt you, not help you. And it happens all the time. Like not every call, but a lot of calls, it happens, right? It actually brings the level of certainty down. We don't do that on purpose, okay? In some cases we do. When we're doing a big drop at the end, like I just explained to you with my Facebook ad agency, we purposely designed that script for them to say no, but that's a completely different game. But bottom line is we don't know what's going to work. So what we do is we just do it all. We do it all and we ask them to buy every single time. And eventually, if you do it all and you ask them to buy every single time, they will say yes to you, or you'll trap them and they'll hang up and they won't answer your call back. That happens a lot too. But the bottom line is we need to raise every single one of them to level 10. Once we get it to level 10, we ask them to buy. They say yes. It's just that simple. All right. So if we continue the process, rebuttal based in certainty and then ask them to buy, then eventually every qualified prospect should buy from you. Okay. Now, again, I know I keep saying this, but I want to make sure that this is very clear. I am not saying that you are going to close 100% of the people you talk to. Nobody in the world does that. You're not going to close 50% of the people you talk to. Very few people do that, okay? I do it in certain situations when I take applications through the internet and I get a lot of information from people and there's a lot of things that go on before the call. Yes, that happens. On a cold call, if we're getting 10, 12, 15%, we're doing really good on a paid product, right? If it's a free trial, if we get 20 or 30% on people we talk to, we're doing really well. So you're never going to get 100% of the people to buy from you. In a perfect world, though, if you do this process perfectly, they should buy from you every time. We're not perfect, though, and neither is the world. We're going to screw up. I screw up every single day. I'm going to go out and say I screw up every call I make. In some way, I screw up every call I make, and I've been doing this for 23, it's my 23rd year of selling on the telephone. I screw up every single call I make. And you will too. So don't be ashamed of that. It's just part of it, right? I fumble a word, I say a word the wrong way, in the wrong tonality, my pace is off, whatever. It's going to happen. So we just have to understand that, and we have to do our best, right? We have to understand that rebuttals are always based in certainty. If we follow that up with asking them to buy, in a perfect world, everyone should buy from us, but we don't live in a perfect world, so they're not all going to buy from us. But our job is to make sure that the highest percentage of people that are qualified actually end up saying yes, okay? And if we do that, we should do pretty well. All right, so we're going to go into some objections here. The first one's going to be time, and then we'll go through a couple other ones. The way it's going to work is I'm going to give you a scenario like this. So here I'm selling a $1,500 product to an owner of a real estate office that is designed to help his agents develop their own leads. Before I go into this, though, I do want to say one thing about a word that is thrown around the sales industry, and some people are, get skeeved out by it and like, ooh, I don't want to be that guy. And buyers are always like, ooh, I don't want that person to come near me, right? And that is the word pressure, the P word. Now let's say that in these parts, right? Pressure. Do we pressure people to buy? 1,000% we pressure people to buy. I'm not a high pressure salesperson. I don't like that kind of stuff. Then you're not working for me. Don't worry, this is not going to be a high pressure sales call. Then don't call me. Look, if you believe that your product or service is going to increase my level of status and experience in life, it's going to make my life better, you should pressure me to buy it. And if you're not willing to pressure me to buy it, then it means that your level of belief is subpar. You're the uncertain one, not me. You are. Okay? So I just wanted to throw that in there because a lot of people talk about it and it just drives me nuts. If you believe in the product or service that you are selling, then yes, you pressure people to buy from you because you know it's going to help them. I sell a marketing platform. It's an email marketing platform and a chatbot that we combine the two together, put it into a pizza place, nail salon, barbershop, whatever. It's one of the products that we sell, right? I walk into a pizza place, and this never happened, but I'm basically making this up, this whole entire thing. But I'm just giving you an example, right? I walk into a pizza place. I'm not a high-pressure sales guy. It's like, look, man, this is what we got. Here's what it is. Oh, you need time to think about it? No problem, man. Think about it. It's all good. Week goes by, I call him back. Nah, still thinking. Another week goes by. Yeah, come in. Let me see it again. We'll go over it with my partner. Okay, go in, show him the thing again. I don't know. We'll talk about it and we'll get back to you. Another week goes by, and then all of a sudden, bang, coronavirus hits. They're closed down for 4 weeks and they're out of business. That's my fault, not theirs. If I would have pressured them into buying the first time I met them, what would have happened? By this point, I would have had 1,000 people on their email list, and I would have been banging that email list for deliveries every single day, and that company would have not closed down during a pandemic. They would have grew through a pandemic. But because I'm not a high-pressure salesperson, and I let them control the deal as opposed to me, because I was insecure, and I was uncertain, and I didn't have the belief in my product or service, their family's hurt, their employees are hurt, and they're out of business. If you have a drug that cures a disease that kills somebody, let's say, I don't know, AIDS or cancer or whatever, pick a disease. If you have a drug that you know, beyond a shadow of doubt, you're 100% certain this cures this disease, and your best friend has it. Now, let me think about it. What are you going to do? Dude, you're going to die if you don't take this drug. Like, I'm going to pin you down on the bed, and I'm going to force it down your throat. Okay? Now, again, I'm not saying that we're nasty, that we're yelling and screaming at people, that we're berating people. No, none of that stuff is done here. We're professional. We're respectful. We have a lot of great relationships with our clients. Some of our clients we don't have any relationship with. They're just clients. They pay us. We provide a service, and that's it. But a lot of my clients are friends of mine. But the reason why we're able to do that pressure, when things get a little hairy, we're able to pressure in an elegant and effective way, which you'll see through this, right? We're able to pressure them into buying is because we know that if they buy from us, they are going to get a dramatic result that's going to increase the status and experience in their life. Period. We know it. That's why we don't, Facebook ad side of my business, that's why we don't take on a $1,500 client from day one. We take on a $50 trial first. Why? Because I'm not going to pressure somebody into a $1,500 sale if I don't know I can help them. And look, Facebook ads and paid advertising is a tricky business. Sometimes it'll work for a gym in my area, but it won't work for a gym in Florida or whatever, right? So it's a tricky thing. Some clients it works for, some clients it doesn't. I'm always going to get them on a trial first. Because if I don't know that I can get results for them, I am not going to take them on as a client. I only take people on as a client that I know I can perform for. And because of that, not only do I feel comfortable, I train my salespeople to be high-pressure salespeople in an effective and elegant way. Not nasty, not cursing at people, not yelling at people, not berating people, none of that stuff, but we pressure people to buy. All right? And whether you like that or not, psychologically, you're going to learn how to do that right here. Okay, so the way this is going to work, let's get back to the objections now. Enough with pressuring people to buy. There's another thing, too, that I could probably tell you, but actually, you know what? I'm just going to tell you because you're going to hear it here anyway, and you should know it before we get started. You're going to hear a lot of things here that are specifically designed to make people, and I don't really know a better way to put this, but to make people feel dumb, right? And the reason why we do that is because, again, we know that we can get them the result. That's why we're talking to them. And them saying no to us and giving us an excuse is kind of dumb. So we're going to make them feel dumb for doing it. Again, in a professional and elegant. I'm not going to say, you don't have a time. What are you, a moron? We don't do that, right? We do it in a very elegant way. And you're going to see it in some of these examples. So the way this is going to work, we have the objection up top, right? So this person says time, some variation of time. I don't have the time. I'm too busy right now, whatever, right? And the scenario is I'm selling a $1,500 product to an owner of a real estate office that's designed to help his agents develop his own leads. I am not going to put the rebuttal on the page, okay? I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to put the rebuttal on the page. I'm just going to say it, and then you are going to pause the video and write it down, or watch it again and write it down, or record it, or whatever you want to do, okay? So, selling a $1,500 product to an owner of a real estate agent that is designed to help his agents develop his own leads, and I say, the only thing that you're going to regret is that you didn't do it sooner. Does that sound fair? Well, I really like what you're saying, and it makes sense to me, but right now I just don't have the time to implement a new service like this. Great. I understand exactly what you're saying. Before I let you go, let me ask you a question. If you don't mind, what's the process that you use right now to get leads for your company? Well, we go on Zillow and we operate, we get leads from Zillow, we get leads from Trulio, we get leads from whatever other website is out there for real estate companies. I don't really know. But we buy leads from these 3 different sites, and then they come into my email box, and then I kind of divvy them out to each individual salesperson. And, obviously some salespeople are better than others, more experienced, so I give the better leads to some other people, whatever. That's the process. Okay, so basically you go to 3 different sites. Those sites, you obviously pay for leads there. Those sites will send you an email with the leads attached to them after you've bought them. Then you have to sit there and you have to go through them all. Then you have to take those, chop them up, and then I guess email them to each one of your salespeople individually based on their level of experience and what it is that you want them to accomplish. Is that kind of the process? Yeah, that's kind of the process. Okay, so I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. I'm just trying to understand. My solution takes away Zillow, takes away Trulia, takes away the other website, takes away the time you spend in the email inbox, takes away the time you spend dividing the leads up, takes away the time it takes for you to email to your real estate agents, basically all of the stuff that we just talked about that's taking up all your time is gone. Now, this might be my fault. I don't know, but maybe I didn't explain it the right way. My solution, it's $1,500 a month. It's completely hands-off on your part. Now, yes, your real estate agents will be getting leads themselves, but the bottom line is you yourself are actually going to have more time because you're not going to have to worry about Zillow. You're not going to have to worry about Redfin. You're not going to have to worry about Trulia or any other website that you work with. You're not going to have to worry about the email inbox. You're not going to have to worry about divvying up the leads or dividing them up. You're not going to have to worry about sending emails to your agents. You're not going to have to worry about tracking how they're doing or any of those things because they're going to be developing the leads for themselves. So the bottom line here, Joe, is this. Your only job today is to say yes, and we take care of everything else. How does that sound? Okay, now, there's a lot there, right? And again, it's not written down. That was all off the cuff. All comes with experience. So you might want to replay that and write it down if you want to, or come on a coaching call and ask me. Say time, and I'll show you how to do it. And it'll probably be something different then. You know, same premise, same process, but it'll be a little bit different. Basically, what I did there was I asked him for his process, and I exaggerated a little bit, but I made him understand that he can't tell me that he doesn't have the time with my total lead solution that's completely hands-off when he's spending time on Zillow, on Trulia, on other websites, emailing people stuff, you know, tracking everything. We do all that for him. Now, obviously, that would be in the pitch of the product, right? I mean, I would say that. I would say it's a hands-off thing, and we do all the tracking and everything else. I would say all those things in the presentation. This is just the rebuttal to that. But the bottom line is I'm making him, for lack of a better way of putting it, I'm making him feel stupid for saying that he doesn't have the time when my solution is actually a lot less time for him than the current solution that he has. So the old way of doing it, the way that he's doing it now, is actually taking more time than the way my solution will run. My solution is going to free up all of his time. He's not going to have to worry about any of that stuff, okay? So that's basically how you would handle that. And then again, I use it. This is a little bit of a weird one, but I use a time-based close at the end, right? And I kind of just threw that in there, so it was a little bit hard to pick up. But at the end, I don't just say, you know, do you want to start today or tomorrow or whatever? I say, your only job today literally is to say yes, and we take care of everything else. That's a specifically time-based close. Because I'm saying to them, time is off the table because all you have to do is say yes, and everything else is on us. We do everything else from A to Z. All you got to do is say yes, we take care of everything else. So that was a time-based rebuttal and also a time-based close as well. Okay, so next we are going to overcome money. And I am going to be selling a $35,000 vehicle, which is actually not going to be $35,000. I'll explain to you why after the objection handling is over. But the $35,000 vehicle to a couple with children. Okay, so I'm walking back from my desk mat. If you ever bought a car, you know this walk, right? If you ever sold cars, you know the walk. You have the little piece of paper in your hand. You make this big show when you go up to your desk manager. Really, you're talking about like sports or something. But you're pretending you're getting a price. You know, you're slashing stuff out on the paper. This is the best we can do. I did that over and over and over again for 18 months straight. And I train people on how to do it now. So I'm coming back from my desk manager. I'm sitting down. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I have fantastic news for you. The sticker price on the car, as you saw, is $37,000. The best that we could do directly from the sales manager is $34,584, and we can have you out of the dealership with your plates on the vehicle on your way home in 3 hours. What insurance company do you use? Well, you know, that's a little high for us. A little bit out of our budget. You know, we are paying cash, so it's a little bit out of our budget. We do love the car, but that's just a little bit too high. Okay, so I understand the economy is a little tough, and you know it is what it is, and I get it's an expensive purchase for a lot of people. You know, whether it's a $10,000 purchase, $30,000 purchase, $50,000 purchase, it's a big deal for a lot of people. It's the second biggest investment people make besides their house, right? So I understand $34,584 is a lot of money, no matter who you are. But the bottom line is this. That's the best that we can do. And the only other suggestion that I have for you is that if you don't value the all-wheel drive and the backup camera, we can always put you in a lower vehicle. Well, no, I want the all-wheel drive and the backup camera. Oh, I would too, because, we're in New York, so God forbid it snows, and, you have the kids in the back seat and stuff like that. I would value that as well, and the backup camera too. So let me ask you this then. What were you expecting to pay for the vehicle? Because I'm sure, like most people that come in here, you did your research and stuff like that. So what would you expect to pay for that vehicle? Well, from what I saw online, it's around $33,000 was what we was like our top. That's what we felt comfortable spending. And like I said, we like the car, we drove it. It's awesome. We love it. We want the all-wheel drive. We want the backup camera. Everything that's in there. We want that one that we drove. It's really, really good. But again, $34,584. I forgot my own price. $34,584 is just too much money for us right now. We were expecting to pay $33,000. Okay, I get it. We're $1,400 off, $1,500 off. So let me ask you this. How long do you expect to keep the vehicle? How long do you usually keep them? You keep them 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Well, we usually keep them for around 5 years. Okay, so let me just do a little math here. And I'm breaking out of character for a second. My math is terrible, so it's going to be completely off, but just go with the process. So you keep the car for 5 years, and it seems like, again, like I said before, we're $1,500 off. So that would break down to around $300 a year, or around maybe $10 a month or something like that, maybe $20 a month. So let me ask you this. Are you really willing to walk away from the car that is safe for your family, the one that's going to serve your family the best, the one that you just said you love, for $20 a month? That's how you overcome the money objection. And that's almost always how you overcome it, right? You break it down to the lowest common denominator, especially in a situation like this. You break it down to the lowest common denominator, and $1 a day, $2 a day, 50 cents a second, whatever it is. You break it down to the lowest thing, and then you just say to them, are you willing to sacrifice or experience all this pain, negativity, and uncertainty for $20 a day? Or $20 a month, or whatever it was? So the math was off, but the process is there. Now, why did I come back at $34,584 and not $35,000? You never come back with an even number in the car business. That's a little car sales trick. You never come back at $35,000 because that's ridiculous. You make it seem like I don't want to say whether it's true or not, because you try to get the best deal for your client as you possibly can. Usually it's you, the salesperson, and the customer versus the sales manager. That's usually how it works. You try to get the best deal you can, but if the sales manager says $35,000 is the best we could do, I'm always going to do like $35,127 because it makes it seem like we cut everything out that we possibly could. Now, I'm not going to say to them, we check the invoice and then we went down to tissue price and I'm not going to go into that much of detail, but I am going to say, based on what my manager said, this is the best we can do. Because that's what he told me, right? He said, this is the price. So I'm assuming that that's the best we could do. If it was a lower price, he would have told me. So, again, keeping in mind that great salespeople, highly trained salespeople never have to lie, you do paint pictures sometimes with the psychological things that you do during a transaction, okay? So that is the money objection. And again, it's handled the same way no matter what it is that you're selling. I'm trying to put a whole bunch of different scenarios in here so that you understand it's the process, not the product. I don't want you to become product-based salespeople or entrepreneurs. I want you to become process-based entrepreneurs, right? People that understand the process, like an Elon Musk, right? I happen to be fascinated with that guy. I don't know why, I just am. Elon Musk can start a car company, a tunnel company, a space company, and now he's putting chips in people's brains. He's a process-based guy. He's not a car guy. He's not a space guy. I mean, he knows a lot about space. He knows a lot about cars, rocket scientists or whatever. But the bottom line is he understands the process of taking a company from nothing to something big, right? And sales is the same thing. It's not the product. It's the process that you take the prospect through, okay? And again, if you want to go through any of these in detail based on the specific product that we sell, you can come to the coaching calls and just say, I don't have the money, and we'll go through it. Okay? Very simple. Because before I go on to the next one, with our stuff, we give away trials. Like, we don't hear this ever. But again, it's one of the biggest objections that people say. All right. Tried this before. This is one of my favorites. I'm selling the $3,000 marketing service to an attorney. Okay, so I call the guy up. Based on what you just told me, is a perfect fit for you. Here's basically how it works. Whatever. And then I say the price of the service is $3,000 per month. We can get started today or tomorrow. Which would you choose? Or the price of the service is $3,000 a month. And the only thing you regret was we didn't start months ago. Whatever the trial closes. No, I can't do that, man. I tried Facebook ads before or marketing service. I tried a marketing service like this with email lists and everything else before, and it just didn't work out for me at all. I get it. There's a lot of people out there that, have different kind of marketing services and stuff, and they sell to attorneys and tax people and car dealerships and everything else. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that building a database of people that either are your clients or came in for a consultation with you and didn't actually sign a retainer with you, do you believe that building a database of those people is important to your business? Well, yeah, I need to have a database of my clients. I need to have a database of people that came in for consultations. And that goes for, conflict of interest reasons and also marketing reasons, stuff like that. But I need to have that database, and I need to, I got to keep that. Okay. So you agree that it's vital to your business to have a database of people that come in for consultations and don't sign a retainer with you. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Now, this is going to be a weird question, but I got to ask it before I go because it's been driving me crazy this entire time we've been talking. What kind of computer do you use in your office? I have a MacBook Pro that we use, and we it's like a 2018 version or something. Okay. Was that the first computer you ever bought? No, it wasn't the first computer I ever bought. Okay, so what was the computer you had before the MacBook Pro? I had a Hewlett Packard. When I first started my firm. Okay, do you also agree that the computer in your office is vital to your business? Yes, I agree the computer is vital to my business. Okay, so when you got the Hewlett Packard and that you switched over to the MacBook Pro, why did you make the purchase of the MacBook Pro? Well, the Hewlett Packard just started getting really slow, and I don't know why you're asking all these questions. This is really weird, but the Hewlett Packard got really slow, and it just wasn't working anymore, and I couldn't get my work done, and everything was bad, and it was getting viruses and everything else, and I had to buy a new computer because I needed a computer to do my work. I had to do it, so I went out and bought the MacBook Pro. Okay, so based on what you just told me, and again, just so we're on the same page, you knew that the computer was vital to your business. You had a negative experience with the Hewlett Packard because you said it had a virus and everything else. But because you knew it was vital, you went out and bought a new one. All I'm asking you to do is apply the same logic here with this. I get that you tried it in the past and it didn't work out. But you understand, like you said, that having a database of people that you can market to over and over and over again that came in for consultation and didn't retain your services is vital to your business, just like your computer. All I'm asking you to do is don't put me in the Hewlett Packard box with the other people. And that's it. Very simple. I've done that with cars. I've done it with computers. I've done it with phones. I've done it with anything you could possibly think of, right? I'll just randomly say, I tried this before. Let me ask you a question. What kind of car do you drive? I drive a BMW 5 Series. Okay. What's the car you had before that? I had a Honda Accord. Why'd you switch from the Honda to the BMW? Well, the Honda's engine blew. Was that a good experience or a bad experience? It was a terrible one. Okay, I'm asking you to apply the same logic here. That's it, right? And again, it's very, very difficult. I'm trying to train this as best I can. It's very difficult to argue with myself. It's like really hard. So if you come on the coaching calls and you hit me with tried this before, it'll play out much better and we'll be able to get a much better grasp of it together. It's hard arguing with yourself, but we're going to try our best. All right. Got to talk to somebody else. Let's nail this one down. I am selling, what am I selling here? A $400 a month marketing service to a nail salon. All right, so this is like my marketing package that we have, right? We sell a trial, but we'll go for the full $400 a month. It's whatever it is. Marketing service to a nail salon. So do the pitch. It's a one-call close, or even at an appointment. Doesn't really matter. I do the whole thing and I say it's $400 a month. The only thing you're going to regret is you didn't start months ago. Does that sound fair? Well, I got to talk to my partner. And there's something we got to talk about before we get into after we're done with this. So can't forget that. Got to talk to my partner. Okay. I understand you got to talk to your partner, and I would want to talk to my partner as well if I was going to make a decision like this about our business, me and my partner. So I understand where you're coming from. Let me ask you this, though, before I let you go. You do nails for a living. You've been doing nails for a while? Yeah, I've been doing nails for about 20 years, and I've had this salon for about 15. Okay. So I know a little bit about nails, like just based on looking at your website and talking to you for 10 minutes. I know a little bit about, the process of putting nails on. Would you trust me to go and talk to my neighbor about what it is that you do for a living? Well, what do you mean? Like you're not a nail salon person? No, I'm not. What I'm asking you is, if I was going to refer you somebody and I was going to explain everything that has to do with nails and how to paint them and how to put nails on and everything else, would you trust that I had the knowledge to do that? Or would you trust that I had more knowledge than you? Well, no, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've had this salon for 15 years. You don't have more knowledge than me. I would be better at explaining it to your neighbor than you would. Okay, so don't you think the same thing is true with this? Don't you think that I would have more experience and be better off explaining it to your partner than you would? And look, I'm not being disrespectful to you. I'm just saying that I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time, and I know the ins and outs of my service. I know what my service can do for your company, and I know that when your partner hears all the benefits that we can get for you guys and all the results we can get for you guys, they're going to jump right on board. But I understand you got to talk to them first. I get it. But the problem is, I think I'd be better off explaining that to them than you would. And you kind of just agree with me. So the solution to that problem is this. Let's get your partner on the phone right now on a 3-way call. We'll talk them through it. And if they love it, we'll do it. If they hate it, we'll never talk again. Patch them in. That's how you get over to talk to someone else. Get them on the phone with the other person on a 3-way call. Now, here's the problem with this objection, okay? The problem with this objection is, and it happens to everybody. It happens to me all the time. It happens to every one of my salespeople every day. It happens to me every day. This is a prospecting issue, not a sales issue. Meaning, I should know that look, qualified prospect, want, need, desire, ability, authority. I'm missing the third one, right? I'm missing the third one. Now, you could say the same thing about this, money, but a lot of people just blow you off here. Right? Usually they have the money anyway. They're just saying that to try to get away. Here, this person probably really needs to talk to their partner, right? So if that's the case, I should know that during the prospecting phase, and I should talk to them when they're together. If I don't do that, that's my fault, and it's a prospecting issue, not a sales issue. Okay, so that's just the one thing with this one, all right? Next, think about it. Okay, so for this one, I am selling a $500,000 house to a couple. So far, we've sold 2 marketing services, one at $5,000, $3,000? $3,000, I think, and $400. We sold a $35,000 car, and now we're selling a $5,000 house, a $500,000 house. Woo. I don't even know what that would be. $500,000 house to a couple, and that couple has to think about it. So we're walking through one industry that I've never been in. I trained a lot of people in this industry, but I've never actually been in a house selling situation. I've been on the buyer side, but I've never been on the seller side. But that doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to think of like what would happen to make them say this. Like what's the process that would lead up to it? And like I did with the walking up to the desk thing, I'm trying to come up with the same type of scenario in my head. So I guess we're kind of like at the end of our walkthrough or whatever, and I'm like, well, what do you guys think? You want to put an offer in? And they're like, yeah, we love the house. We could definitely see our family in it, but we got to think about it a little bit. Listen, this is your biggest investment you're ever going to make. Of course you have to think about it. Like look, I would never in a million years ever ask you to buy this house right now. That would be insane. You're going to go home, you're going to think about it. You're going to crunch the numbers 17 different ways, and you're going to come up with a solution for yourself. That's the way everybody does it. every single person that I have ever worked with in my 20 years as a real estate agent has to think about it before they make a purchase. I would think you were absolutely insane if you didn't think about it, and I probably wouldn't even let you do it if you didn't think about it. So here's the way we think about it here, okay? What we do is we put an offer in for the house, all right? If the buyer accepts the offer, we can still rescind it and we can rip everything up. If they accept it and you like it, we go for it. If they don't accept it, who cares? It doesn't matter. We're still thinking anyway, right? So what's the number that you want to put in as an offer while you think about it? Simple as that. That's it, okay? Now, when we're talking about like marketing services and stuff, like stuff that we sell, we do trials. So what I say to them in a think about it thing is, let me ask you this. What do you think the best way to think about something is? And they'll say, well, I don't really know. I just got to ponder if we want to do it or not or whatever. So, okay, fair enough. I get it. You want to ponder if you want to do it or not, or think about that and all that. That's great. And I would probably want to do the same thing. Do you think it has anything to do with the results that you would get from the service that we're offering? Well, of course. I mean, that's primarily what we have to think about. Like, we have to think about if the results are going to be there for us and if we have the staff for it and everything else. So let me ask you this then. What do you think the best way to see if you're going to get results for it with it and if you have the staff for it? What do you think the best way for that to happen would be? I mean, and I'm going to cut them off, right? And it's a strategic cutoff. I'm going to cut the person off. I'm going to say, I mean, I don't know about you, but I would think that the best way to see if you're going to get results and the best way to see if you have the staff to handle it is for you to just give it a try. And if you get results with it and you have the staff to handle it, you keep doing it. If you don't have the staff to handle it and you don't have the results, you don't do it. Does that sound like something that makes sense? And then they're done on a trial, right? So again, we're going into like really big stuff here, but every training program that I make, I always try to make it in a way where you can use it for anything. And that's why I'm giving you a whole bunch of different examples. And I also want to show you that sales is sales is sales is sales. Like I said before with the Elon Musk example, we want to be process-based people, not product-based people. I don't want to teach you how to sell marketing stuff. I don't want to teach you how to sell Facebook ads. I don't want to teach you how to sell cars or houses or boats or yachts or whatever else. I want to teach you the psychological process of getting someone from I don't know who you are to I'm willing to buy it from you. That's it. Okay? And that's a very, very easy thing to do when you know the psychological process and you understand how to work it. So those are the main objections. If you have other ones, come to the coaching calls, throw them out at me. I'll teach you how to answer any objection that you could possibly think of. It doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, instant objections. Instant objections will happen. And the only way to stop them is to try to shock the prospect back into the conversation. I'm going to give you examples of this in a second. I don't have them written out, but you'll understand what I mean when we go through it. Here's the key to this, though, and this is really important for you to understand. Most of the time, you will not overcome them. No matter what I teach you or anyone teaches you, you will never overcome instant objections, most of the time, okay? So what is an instant objection? This is what it is, okay? I dial the phone, ring, 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 ring. Hi, this is Bill from Bill's Plumbing. How can I help you? Hey, Bill, this is Kenny from XYZ. I'm not interested. That's an instant objection, okay? It's right when you start talking, they just yell something out. Now, most of the time what's going to happen is you're going to get your intro, half of your intro out, and they're just going to be like, not interested, bang, and they're going to hang the phone up. That happens a lot, okay? So the only way to try to get through that is to shock them back into the conversation. What I mean by that is most of the time you're going to hear, stop calling me, not interested, something along those lines. They're not going to say, it's not going to be like this. It's not going to be like, hi, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? Don't have the money. That never happens. They're going to say, not interested. Don't call me again. Stop calling me. You call me 5 times a day. I get called this all the time. They're going to say something like that, okay? So what I do is I take the objection that they say, and again, I kind of whittle them down with it, and I do it very quick, okay? So, hey, this is Kenny from XYZ. Not interested. What are you not interested in? We're not even talking yet. Something like that, okay? Or, hey, this is Kenny from XYZ Market. I don't have a time right now. If you didn't have a time, you wouldn't pick up the phone. It's got to be quick, to the point, and like a stab to the neck. As quick and as sharp as you can make it. All right? You can't wait, because what happens is, as they're saying that, they're getting ready to hang up. But if you can say something that's a little bit unique and outside the box that they're not expecting, you'll at least bring the phone back to their ear. And the only goal of any line in a pitch is to get them to stay to the next line. So if we can shock them back into the conversation, we have a chance to move forward with our presentation. And that's the only thing that we can do there. But again, most of the time, it's not going to work. And here's another thing. 2 things. Very important. Number 1, if it does work, be prepared for a battle the entire time. Now, I love this stuff. You may not love this stuff. It's up to you, right? But for me, if somebody says to me, not interested in the first 2 seconds of a phone call, and I manage to get through that and continue on, I'm in my glory, because I know every time I pause, they're going to hit me with something. And I'm going to have to fight them. And every time they pause again, they're going to hit me again. And I'm going to have to fight them. And every time I pause, they're going to hit me again. But what I also know, and this is the second point, is that they do that to every other person that calls them. What does that mean? That means that if I can get through, I have a client for life, because nobody else is getting them through. Nobody. Nobody else is handling it, okay? Every single marketing person, SEO person, Facebook ad person, not interested, buy, not interested, buy, not interested, buy. All of a sudden, I get through. I have no competition because everyone else is getting hung up on. Nobody else got through to him, and he is mine forever. The best, I promise you. And I'm telling you right now, if you've ever sold anything in your life, if you ever started a business and sold stuff, if you ever sold stuff for somebody else, doesn't matter. You will relate to this, and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about, okay? This is especially true on the phone. The harder the deal, the better the customer. Almost 100% of the time. The easier the deal, you're probably going to have a hard time on your hands, right? Like, the last person in the world that I want is someone that says, I say, based on what you just told me, price of the product is $1,500 and we can get started right now. And they're like, okay. I'm like, crap. That's terrible. That's like the worst thing in the world. Why? Because the next person that calls them, what do you think they're going to say? If someone's $1,200 a month, they're leaving me. If someone's $1,400 a month, they're leaving me. If I drop drop down below a certain number one time, they're leaving me. Any kind of issue, they're leaving me. The next person that calls is going to say the same thing. But the person that gives you the most problems, they're going to stay with you forever because they don't let anyone into their circle. And when you become part of their circle or inside of their circle, they're going to stay there. They don't want to let anybody else in, right? So if you can battle through that, you're going to have the best client that you ever had. Hunting for no's will find the yes, always, okay? I look for the no's in every conversation. Not every other, but a lot of salespeople and entrepreneurs, especially the newer ones, you're looking for the yes all the time. Where can I find the yes? Where can I find the yes? The only way to find the yes is to battle through the no's. And the more no's that you get, I'm not talking about this in like a theoretical, like stupid New York Times best-selling sales book way, but the more no's that you get, the better yes you'll get. What I mean by that is kind of what I said before. If you're selling something to somebody and they say yes after your first try, it's not going to work out very well. But if they say yes after they said no 5 times, you're going to have a really good client. The more times they say no, the better the client's going to be. Because again, the more times they say no, the less people they let through, right? You think the average everyday SEO guy or Facebook ad guy or marketing guy or whatever is going to handle 7 no's? No, they're going to go for an appointment on the second no. That's what they do, right? But us, highly trained salespeople, my salespeople, me, you guys, we're going to hunt through the no's because we understand that the more no's they say, the better yes we're going to get and the more commitment we're going to get, okay? So we hunt for the no's to find the yes. All right, so that is all for this video. I know it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. You're probably going to have to watch this a couple times. I talk fast. I'm kind of all over the place when I do objection handling, but it's all there. All right, that's really, really good content on handling objections. You should be able to handle any, especially in this type of stuff that we do, marketing services, Facebook ads. You'll be able to overcome literally anything with that little hour-and-a-half video to however, I can't see the time, but however long it is. And again, come to the coaching calls. Throw the objections out at me in a live setting and do it in a way. We're using examples here because I want to show you that the process works in anything, but we're not going to be selling houses. We're not selling cars. That's stupid. But again, I want to show you that it's a process. It's not the product. That's very important you understand that. So come to the coaching calls and we'll do it based on what it is that you're selling. Whether you're upselling and you're in that stage and you're selling the Facebook stuff or whatever it is you're upselling, or you're still selling the marketing packages to people, or you're doing both, right? We'll overcome objections on money based on the Facebook stuff. We'll overcome objections on money based on the marketing platform stuff. We'll overcome objections based on exactly what it is that you're doing so that we can so that you can use that in your sales calls. All right? I didn't want to do that here because I want to show you that it works anywhere. But in the coaching calls, we will. All right? So come to the coaching calls, throw any objection out that you want at me, and we will teach you how to overcome them. Okay? Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let us know.